beautiful people? My name is Willow, and welcome back to Supreme Commander Forge Alliance Forever for another 2v2 cast, this time on the Neuroxus map generator, and I am joined by my esteemed co-host for this cast, Thurnis. Haley, how you doing?
Doing fairly decent.
Alrighty. So,
wonderful red map.
Yeah, very wonderful red map with a lot of water. And let's go ahead and just talk about our teams really quick. Team 1 on the left-hand side, Team 2 on the right-hand side. And before we get into introducing our players, please consider going down below, liking, commenting, subscribing, and hitting the join button if you are so inclined. Now, with all of the shilling out of the way, let's go ahead and start introducing our players. Starting with the Blue Seraphim on Team 1, going first land by the name of Tom Ruler, picking a horrible faction as we zoom right in on that face. And then his ally, the Gray Seraphim, so Team 1, automatically the worst team for having double Seraphim, by the name of Ladike, going first land. And then over to Team 2, we can start off by looking at the Yellow Seraphim. I think I'm gonna be sick. Reslina going first air, so divergence in how these players are approaching this map. And last but not least, another first air opener, but this time from a red UEF, thankfully not a full Seraphim match, by the name of Antrox. And of course, it's time to look at the map. I'm sure Thurnis has some opinions on it. What do you think? 42,000 reclaim, decent amount of water. There's all these little coves and areas, but generally I think Navy's going to be pretty effective.
I think Naval is definitely going to be a big part of this game. Cruisers from either of these factions can deny probably 12 mexes each just from parking in one of the coves.
Yep.
You could deny in hundreds of massive cruisers.
Yep, I entirely agree with you. I think that Team 2, though, has a distinct advantage in the fact that they have two different factions to draw from. And because UEF tech is really strong, and of course Seraphim tech is strong too, even if it's fucking filthy. But I'm pretty sure that if these players, especially in the Navy, UEF is very strong in the Navy, especially if the game goes on for a while. And I'm not gonna lie to you all can see the little time code below. This one goes on for a while, so gonna be interested to see if that has any effect on the game. As far as reclaim goes, I think the vast majority is right here in the middle. Half of the reclaim on the map is right here on screen for you right now, and also the minimap probably could be smaller. And that's gonna create a huge point of contention on this causeway. Also, there is a lot of reclaim, so these players are gonna be getting their economies up very high, very quickly, very cash money of them. And I just slapped my microphone, whatever. So, yeah, what do you think about the 2v2 matchmaker? Do you like playing it, Thurnis?
I enjoy it. I'm not a fan when I draw a MapGen, because I never know how to play them.
Oh, well, that's user error more than anything.
That's user error, yeah. 2v2 matchmaker is, it's not bad. I do like it.
Gotcha.
I do thoroughly enjoy the game. I'm interested to see how these people are going to play, whether they land spam or eco, just with the sheer amount of mexes and reclaim.
I think you kind of have to do both. I mean, you're given so much reclaim. Let's just zoom in on Tom Ruler, because we all know and love Tom Ruler. He has 4,000 reclaim around his general base, and even if you like cut out that one to the left, there's 3,000 reclaim like on his doorstep. That is what, 5, 6 T2 mexes? That's a lot of eco to easily get.
Yeah, he's already picked up a full T2 mex's worth of reclaim.
Yep.
I doubt it's gone into a T2 mex.
But overall reclaim right now, I'm surprised that everybody's under 1,000. With a map with so much reclaim, I feel like you can get over 1,000 before 4 minutes. But overall economies, as we haven't really had much action going on other than this drop over here getting shot down, but the drop did its purpose. It dropped these engineers over here. A little bit of an air fight. Hard to tell who's going to come out on top, but I do think it's going to be Ladike and Tom Ruler in the end who come out victorious. And overall, we just have general expansion going on. This map, not very encouraging of early aggression, I would say. I have a feeling that we're not going to see very much happen for the first 15-ish minutes. We're not going to see any huge plays, mainly just because of how far away these players are from each other and how much expanding these players need to do in order to just grab up their immediate vicinity of mexes.
Yeah, with the amount of time it takes to get expansions in this, labs or tank raids are pretty much useless. I would have loved to have seen first bombers from the Team 2, seeing as they both opened their factories.
I think they both just went for a
devastating.
I think they both went for a transport rush, or maybe not. Maybe they were just trying to go for air control, which is an option. But I feel like one of them at least should have done a transport rush, because actually we did see a transport rush from Tom Ruler, and he is the first player to get to the middle, and he has a foothold here. He's going to have units on the front line faster than anybody else.
Yes, he will. He's got that online. The only thing he doesn't have is, he does not have his rear expansion or his forward expansion. He does have the front.
The Selene. It's a light assault bot that does less damage than anything. It's so useless. So useless.
The Selene is in dire need of buffs.
The combat scout that can barely kill an engineer.
35 health, 4 DPS.
Yeah.
Has to run away from every other lab.
One thing I'm noticing, I don't think it's going to be a huge issue because Ladike's comm is here, but Ladike looking a little bit light on the ground, whereas Antrox going heavily into land spam. I would be surprised to see if Ladike is going to go for the same level of land, but I think that Antrox is really committed. He's not going to try and get into the Navy early. He's going to go just straight for the land. In fact, as far as early Navy goes, nobody has built a naval factory yet. Everybody's still just focusing on the causeway. So a lot of T1 spam coming out from Antrox, a decent amount also coming out from Tom Ruler. And Ladike, I think, has the lowest number of land lowest number of land factories definitely goes to Resina. I think I called them Reslina, but it's just 2 I's. But, you know, me in pronouncing names has never gone well. These tanks out from Antrox continue to push forward. I wonder if a run-by is going to be huge, but overall, Team 1 kind of lackluster with the expansion, especially Tom Ruler. This entire area, which has already been claimed up by Antrox, is just barren land for Tom Ruler.
Yeah, that's even shown in the mass income values. Antrox on 47, Tom Ruler on 37. Antrox does not have any more T2 mexes than Tom Ruler has.
Yeah.
At least I do not believe. It's entirely in
T1
just
mexes.
him lacking this
expansion.
He
has almost 12, if I had to just ballpark it, around 12 more T1 mexes than his opponent. It's just going to mean more stuff. More shit counters less shit. And right now, Tom Ruler actually going to get a little bit lucky that his comm is here, because his comm is going to stop this from being just an absolutely devastating kind of run-by. But this could have been huge. This could have been the denial of multiple factories, which this early on in the game just means that you're going to have to cede the middle of the map. You're not going to have enough tank production, especially with Antrox continuing to build more and more tanks. And overall, it seems this is going to be cleaned up, and Antrox is going to redirect his troops to go up towards the dropped position of Tom Ruler. Going to be able to get some damage done, but no, decides against it, considering there's a T1 PD there and there's even some defending units. Tom Ruler trying to cut off some of this aggression, trying to stem the tide of the red units coming for him. And Tom Ruler dropping over here to get more mexes built up. And overall, just a kind of slow game. There's some aggression being shown by Antrox, but really not achieving all that much.
Antrox has achieved T2 air. Maybe we'll see some Janus play.
Janus, or even a Stinger play. I mean, we don't see T2 gunships we don't see T2 gunship snipes quite as often as I feel you used to in FAF. Feels like it's kind of fallen out of style, or maybe just players have gotten better at dealing with it so it doesn't happen as much, or maybe I'm just crazy and it happens a lot, just not in my games. But let's see something. T2 Air also finished up for Rosina. Do we have T2 Air for either of the players on Team 1? No, but we have T1. We have T2 Land out for Ladike. And yet again, still no naval factories. Our first naval factory going to be finished up by Antrox. So, despite me saying he was going the heaviest for land and probably is going to be a little bit later into the Navy, he's the first player to get into the Navy. So, interesting. Antrox just really had a good strategy for expansion this game. He expanded better than any of the other players.
Engagements on both sides of the middle.
And they're going in opposite directions. It seems as though there's a yin-yang effect going on here. Tom Ruler pushing to the east with his blue units, and the red units of Antrox gaining a little bit of territory on the southern side, going west, but both sides going to fall back now a little bit.
T2 Air achieved by Ladike, soon to be achieved by Tom Ruler also.
Alright, so they're keeping parity in the air game. Tom Ruler doing the T1 scout flower thing where you have scouts spread out perfectly that I don't know how to do, but I wish I did.
Yeah, that's something I want to know how to do too, so someone comment.
People have said it's a mod, and then other people said it's not. So if you know for sure in the comments, tell me. But that's going to be a really good scout for Tom Ruler. He's going to get quite a little bit of information here. He's going to see his opponents are on T2 Air, which I don't think they had seen before. Going to see that just in general, they're pretty even on all things. Pretty even all things considered. Tom Ruler, though, definitely ahead of Antrox now economically. While he didn't expand as quickly, he definitely went for more T2 mexes. He's currently sitting on 5, maybe, or no, he's sitting on like 10 T2 mexes, and his opponent sitting on around 4, maybe 5 T2 mexes. So that's going to result in Antrox being the bottom of the leaderboards for mass generation at 59 mass a second, whereas Tom Ruler is at over 100 already.
$11 versus 3. Not looking good. Oh, a bunch of them just finished upgrading, so
that's even bigger disparity.
No, Antrox finished 4 more T2 mexes.
Oh, gotcha. That's going to help him out a little bit. And large transport drop now coming out from Antrox. Gonna be very possible to deal definite damage if this is not either scouted or... I mean, I guess it doesn't matter if it's scouted. If this is not shot down. See those strikers on that transport to make their way across the map. UEF transport does look quite cool when it's loaded up.
A drop happening on the opposite side of the map in the exact same location.
Ooh, it seems as though Rosina and Antrox are coordinating their efforts. Is the drop that Rosina using? Is he using?
Out from Tom Ruler.
No, I said they're coordinating, as in they're both sending drops out at the exact same time.
Tom Ruler and Antrox are sending them out at the same time.
Oh, there's also a drop on the mini map for Antrox in the top right hand corner, or for Rosina in the top right hand corner.
Oh no, that has no move commands. That doesn't want to move.
Oh, okay. Well, this one out from Antrox is going to drop all of its units, and that's going to very possibly be quite devastating. Whereas on the other side, the Thoms were dropped out. It does seem as though this was a T1 transport that was dropping, correct, for Tom Ruler?
Yep, it was a T1 transport. They have managed to kill 4 mexes at 92% to T2. Oh, one of them lived.
And over on the western side, there is, of course, the drop that came out from Antrox. It was a T2 transport, and it is on its 3rd T2 mex kill, or maybe it was one of those was T1, and is about to be causing significant damage. There is a T1 PD here, actually a couple of them, but it's not really going to stop this from dealing as much damage as it wants to, because they can just not attack where the T1 PD is. And overall, both
more
of these...
drops out, and Notha's
Yeah.
going for Rosina's main base.
Whereas Rosina has double drops coming out on the northern side. There's another drop loaded up for Antrox in that T2 Starlifter transport. Or the Notha's getting purchased. It does seem as though the Notha's take out a couple of mass extractors. Are they going to be able to get anything bigger, though? They are in an air fight right now, but T3 air has been achieved by Rosina, and that's going to get a lot of damage done. Whereas Rosina is dropping the main of Tom Ruler. This could be devastating. That is going to be horrible for Tom Ruler. Both transports unload their entire T2 transport payload of Zooies, and this is just going to be death of a mass extractor, the book, as these T1 PGens, this mass extractor, the T2 Air HQ, all going to be resigned to the books of history and to the reclaim field, as everything here is just gonna die. That's just horrible. The Nothas, they did decent damage, but it's nothing on the scale of what these Zooies are gonna achieve in a much shorter time period. That is brutality. In the
Cruisers
middle,
rolling out in the southern pond.
cruisers in the southern pond. You are correct about that. That's gonna be, oh, that's gonna be atrocious for Team 1. Team 1 in a bad spot right now. The drops and the harassment out from Tom Ruler were looking like they were gonna do pretty well, but just weren't as impactful as this Zooey drop out from Rosina. That alone, well, I say it wasn't as impactful, but Tom Ruler still has the highest economy in the game. With his main base in tatters, this man is just ecoing a storm up. There's so much eco. He literally, if that didn't happen, he would be double the eco of every other player in the game, wouldn't he?
Most likely.
That is ridiculous. He's building Salins, which we were talking about having DPS woes, but I guess they are okay against
Things that can't hit them.
Zooies.
But if they stand still, they die.
But the problem with this strategy is it requires micro, and micro is relatively difficult. So, well, it's a lot of APM. So
Air achieved by Ladike.
Yeah, Ladike is he's doing all right for
Lots of
himself.
mechs upgrading to T3.
For Ladike?
Oh yeah, he's got 3 going right now.
Man, Ladike gonna
Uncapped,
overtake
but-
Tom Ruler. I mean, an uncapped T3 max is better than an uncapped T2 max.
More drops out from Antrox.
Are they gonna get any purchase? The drop that, oh, looks like this drop just finished right over here, and it's gonna be right next to some T2 mexes. Is he gonna remember these units exist before the army gets on top of them? It does look like that's gonna be a no. He just didn't have the, oh, he had the focus to go in at the last second. Maybe he can target down one of these T2 mexes, but with T3 mexes finishing up for Ladike and the number that they are, these T2 mexes are really not they're not very impactful if he loses them. He just re-queues them up. And doesn't even seem as though he's going to lose any more drops coming out for players. We do have a lot of Zooies on the water now for Rosina, just going to try and make a water crossing. He could even use this T2 transport that's sitting over here. We have cruisers now in the water for Tom Ruler, along with the cruisers in the south. One of these cruisers for Antrox already picking up 3, well, assumedly going to get its 3rd mech kill. And great thing about cruisers is whenever they get a mech kill, they remove the reclaim, which is really nice. Avoid your opponent just rebuilding on top of that the mech rack. Over here in the middle, it seems as though Tom Ruler was trying to push forward and just kind of ran into a bunch of units, and it's not going well for him. As we take a step back and just look at this game economically, 287 mass a second for Team 1 versus 214 for Team 2. Team 2 definitely being more efficient with their units, but they are still staring down the barrel of not ecoing enough. They are massively behind economically, to the point where they're already almost 50,000 total mass generated behind. That's just gonna be brutal. It's about to become the cudgel with which Tom Ruler and Ladike are going to be able to just bash over the head of Antrox and Rosina. Anything catching your eye over there?
Knocking out cruisers.
What was
Didn't
that?
go well for the Nothas. Nothas attempted to go and snipe cruisers.
Oh, I'm
but
taking it's the ones down here.
That didn't work.
Yeah. Did they even land any hits?
Nope, they missed all of them.
Oh, that's brutal. And now we were talking about how each cruiser can deny quite a bit of mass extractor. Quite a few mass extractors. Now we have multiple cruisers just being dotted all the way along the coast. And on top of that, another thing this adds is just kind of a little bit of air denial. You can't really fly over the water if every inch of the coastline is covered with anti-air. Gonna make it very difficult for Tom Ruler and Ladike to fly over the southern pond. Though, admittedly, it is the Seraphim cruiser, which is the worst for dealing with T3 air. So if you want to fly like strat bombers or ASF over, you can just fly straight over it and not take too much damage. But things like gunships or the slower of the attacking air units will go down very quickly. Couple of gunships up here in the north from Antrox. Don't think it's going to achieve very much considering there's cruisers coming out of the factories. And what did you notice?
Antrox on the 5 land HQs in a line.
Ooh. Ah, that is brutal. It's a misclick that you never want to happen to yourself, but you always find it a little bit funny when it happens to somebody else.
Also seeming to disregard the fact that T2 PGens are quite volatile, just click drag the line of them.
I think that's more forgivable.
I suppose.
I think that happens way more often than the 5 T2 HQs.
A little mistake.
Yeah, the T2 Pigeons is just like, I need this and I need it quickly and I have other shit to do. Another Zooey drop that is going to be way more effective than it ever deserved to be, I think. Oh, never mind. Tom Ruler isn't lucky enough to just get Zooeys into the main of his opponent.
No.
We have more Nothas around the map. This game has just been non-stop harassment. And I'm sorry that we've missed so much of it, but like, there's literally at any given time, there is a drop on the map. There are Nothas going out trying to harass mass extractors and everything. It's just hard to catch everything when these players are so active with just trying to tax the APM of their opponents. The Nothas do manage to pick up
Wasa
a
going
few
up
mass.
in Ladike space.
Say what? Where in Ladike space?
Slightly in his main base, slightly to the left. Yeah,
okay,
right there.
I was just blind. That's, I would say ambitious, but the man's on 172 mass a second. He can afford it.
He can afford this.
Maybe not with producing
his best
T3
decision.
land like he is, because that, never mind. He can't, wait, he can? He can afford it and
He is
T3 land?
somehow doing this.
I guess he doesn't have all of his T3 build power. It's only, what, 5 T3 engineers?
Yes, he's
3
got very
T3
little
engineers.
build power on it.
Yeah, it's gonna build slowly, but like, that's a time bomb. That's a time bomb waiting to
He'll
happen.
get it done.
Because he's
Rosina
definitely winning
catching
air.
up in Eco.
And yeah, Rosina actually surpassing Ladike
For
in
the first
Eco.
time, Team 2 is past Team 1.
Yeah, but Team 1 still 70,000 almost mass ahead of their opponents in total generation. And that and unless there's been a lot of overflow, which these players I believe are good enough that they're not. Unless there's been a lot of overflow and wasted mass, that has to be coming out somewhere. You could say a lot of it is these T2 mexes that have been killed off by cruisers, but just the same, the other side's lost a lot of mexes to cruisers and to harassment as well, so gonna be interesting to see where this all goes. Ladike with the experimental plan. Anybody else going for an experimental? Have you noticed any others?
I have not noticed anything as interesting as that.
I'm surprised we don't see like maybe a fat boy or something going up. I mean, I guess he might on this map.
5 HQ takes a little bit of math.
On this map, it might be better to just go for Novaxes. I mean, trying to win land on this map seems like it's a big choke point. Like, it's a lot of territory to cover, but it's reasonably coverable by static defense.
Yeah, there are definitely points that you want to dart a couple PDs around if you don't have a lot of units.
Yeah.
Run-bys are definitely problems.
Could
be problems.
There's a lot of units that have been built that I feel are kind of just obsolete now, like all of this T1 army out for Ladike. I think at this point, I would argue that just sending this army back to where your engineers are and control K-ing it is the best use for it.
Yeah, there's next to no use for the T1 army.
I mean, even at this point, the T3 army he's building, the only reason I'm saying it's good is because his opponents aren't building T3. But it's going to take so long for that to get across the map that your opponents have so much time to react. Also, with these cruisers now balling up in the southern pond, of course, there's a lot of cruisers balled up over here, but for some reason, Tom Ruler's still building, I don't know if he still is, but he was building a decent number of destroyers. He's just stopped naval production altogether now, though.
Yeah, he's got it onto 1-to-1 ratio.
You know, I think a really cheeky play could be, as any of the Seraphim, build a battleship and start building a nuke.
Ooh.
I think that would be the cheekiest play you could do. Not because nobody, whenever I know everybody's gonna say, well, of course I know it can build a nuke, but nobody thinks your battleship is building a nuke.
No, I usually don't think the battleship's building a nuke because I think the battleship's too vulnerable.
Yeah, but I think that would be a really fun, sneaky strategy. I don't think it's going to happen. If it does, I'm claiming credit. I went back in time and mind-controlled Tom Ruler to do it. But if it doesn't happen, then use your battleships to make nukes.
Built by Rosina.
They are.
Maybe going for a snipe.
Now, what do you snipe?
Maybe mechs harassment. I'd go for mexes on this.
You wouldn't go for a comm?
Depends if the comm is easily accessible.
Yeah, I'm only asking because the comm of Ladike right now is easily accessible.
Oh, okay. Well, he's under 42 shields.
No, he's not. He's in his main base.
Tanks. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at Tom Ruler.
Yeah, no, Tom Ruler is a harder... I mean, he's easily accessible in the sense that he's, like, further up on the map, but you have to go through a bunch of shields. No, Ladike is just chilling here. He is on a patrol route.
Patrolling in a circle.
Which
Interesting.
Is, I think
makes it easy to dodge bombs.
Yeah, I think you also just do that so that way if these cruisers ever somehow get in range of him or something like that, it kind of dodge. Although I don't think it actually worked for the cruisers because the patrol route's too small.
Yeah, no, he would get hit by those.
The cruiser's out
Rosina
for
going to build
Tom Ruler.
PD.
Yeah, he's building PD, but I was about to say these cruisers are about to break through this defensive position, but no, it looks as though there's just barely enough TMD to stop the fire of the cruisers.
PD definitely don't shoot down TMD, so he
Double
definitely
transport.
stop shooting those up.
Double transports of Zooies ready. Here, on one side. The Othams taking the underwater tour of the map.
Route.
Yeah, the underwater tour of the map going to come up over here, but they're going to be really disappointed when they come onto land and find out there's one T2 mechs that they can deal with. Other than that, all of these mechs are kind of just worthless. Everything of value right now for Antrox is in the back of his base.
Yes, it also seems like Antrox has noticed and he's beginning to build Coopers in a response.
I think that's a misplay. The Coopers are going to take too long to get there. The Otham has so much health, it gets onto land no matter what you do. By the time you spotted them halfway across the pond, it's pointless. You could. The only reason you build Coopers now is to stop them from sending more Othams this way.
Yeah, not a great reason to build more.
Yeah. I think he even realized that... Oh, wait, no, he didn't.
Finished up by Ladike.
That's the Awasa, which we're going to go ahead And until we know that, until we can determine whether or not he's just going to sit around and be boring with it, we're going to track this bad boy and just see how it goes. And see if this experimental bomber can deal some significant damage onto their opponents. But there's a strat snipe on the way for Tom Ruler. Is this enough? He's under a lot of those T2 Seraphim shields, which are surprisingly tanky. I don't think that's enough strat bombers. I think you need 3 passes to kill that comp. Yeah, you'd need 3 passes with that amount to kill that comp, because it only went through 2 shields there. Now then, where is said Awasa? Let's go ahead and get back to tracking it. Back on the case of the Awasa
The
murders.
Authams were gifted to Tom Ruler, so they're sitting in cruiser fire.
Why were they gifted to Tom Ruler? Did he just gift all of his land units? He must have.
That's what it seems like.
Alright, the Awasa struggling with making decisions, and also maybe he's just trying to bait all of the ASF, which I guess is what he just did, into the cruisers, which if the ASF fly over the cruisers and then turn around, they die immediately in the Seraphim cruisers. If you stand still over a Seraphim cruiser, you're gonna eat a lot of damage. And the Awasa's coming in, gonna be dropping one big, beautiful bomb right into the main base of Rosina, and unfortunately it's going to be relatively anticlimactic as the shields just eat all of the damage of it. The question is, are there enough ASF to kill off the experimental bomber? And I don't think there is, or maybe, but the wreck is also going to land on a power generator. Oh, is it enough to kill off the power generator? Oh no, that's actually huge. That is hugely detrimental for Team 1. That is so much reclaim.
Massive. Nuke launcher going up from Antrox, heavily assisted.
Woo! That nuke gonna be building.
Actually went back in the water to get shot by Coopers.
Yeah, these Authams seemed like a good idea until they were massively mismanaged. Right now it's feeling more like a mass dump. I mean, it's not that big of a mass dump at this stage of the game, so it's not like horrible.
Nuke launcher out from Ladike also.
Ladike's definitely finishes slower, but he got an SMD before his opponent got a nuke launcher. And I don't think he's stalling. He wasn't stalling building the Awasa and all those Authams, so. Yeah, no. I think he's fine.
No mass stalls.
Tom Ruler and Rosina have been surprisingly quiet this game, in my opinion. I would define what they're being as quiet. And also, one thing we hadn't considered, though, is the RAS SCU meta. Only one player...
Not possible with Seraphim.
Yeah. So, Team 2, the later this game goes, as long as they abuse that, if they ignore that exists, then that's a bad decision. But as long as the longer this goes on, the more it's looking good for Team 2 if they start getting those SCUs. Now, of course, you always have the counter of, well, the Seraphim teleport Rambo comm is scary as fuck.
That it is. There are also mass fab farms, but, like, mass fab farms don't move.
They don't move, they don't have build power, they don't shoot. They're more efficient for creating economy, I guess, but, like... I think the value of RASCOMs is much more than just the fact that they make mass. Because, like, sure, once you get to a certain amount of economy, it becomes pointless to get more. Like, if you're at 1 to 1.5 thousand mass a second, if you're not winning the game with that, if you're not winning the game with that, then you're not going to win the game with more. If you can't win the game with like a Paragon's worth of mass production, which actually that might not be true. I don't know how much a Paragon produces exactly. I do know it does have a limit.
I think it's 10,000.
But still,
I could be wrong.
We do have support commanders coming out onto the field, and that's why I was bringing it up. We have just the normal support command unit right now in the main base of Rosina. Still not reclaiming that that experimental bomber.
Struggling to spend mass.
Oh, he is.
Because he has no power.
Gotcha. And overall, Reclaim is looking to pad out like this. We have 38,000 for Tom Ruler, 26,000 for Ladike, Rosina sitting at 16,000, 11,000 for Antrox, and those Othams did nothing, didn't they? Yeah, they did the
They
square.
killed a couple T1 mexes.
They did the square root of Dick and Diddly. So, so the thing I'm wondering about is, like, it seems like right now, Ladike and Antrox are dictating this match. They're the ones, like, doing these cool plays, like the nuke rush, the Awasa rush, all of this happening with Ladike and Antrox. Whereas Tom Ruler, other than building these cruisers, hasn't done that much, and Rosina went for a strat snipe that was never going to work, even if there weren't ASF to shoot down all of his stuff. Like, there's enough mobile AA here. I think the strat snipe wouldn't have worked. I don't know. Maybe it works if you have. Maybe it works if you have.
Ladike is building
like, complete. What's he building?
Ladike is building a strat snipe and mass fab farms. So.
And overall economies, Tom
massively up in the economy.
Yeah, Tom Ruler, surprisingly though, the highest economy player. And I think that just comes from him having more T3 mexes than anybody else. People are going for mass fab farms and SUs and all this other stuff. Tom Ruler, I think, correctly realized that he's in a position that's just strong. Most of his mexes are unassailable, so he's just turning them all T3. Whereas Antrox, earlier we were mentioning it, the reason the Othams were useless was because all of the mexes were T1. Well, that was the only time those mexes have been threatened all game. Why are they still T1? Is the question you have to kind of ask yourself. The nuclear missile is complete, so let's go ahead and track on it, because I'm sure it's going to fire any minute. Or maybe I'm wrong, but while we're tracking on it, I'll use the mini-map to give us an idea of what's going on.
Also loaded now.
Both sides are loaded.
Neither side with a fire command.
Okay, my mini-map is making life very difficult right now, but I will make this work. Can I even do this? Control-Shift-T, then I go to Prox's perspective. Oh, no, that doesn't work. Okay, well that was depressing. I can't track both nukes at the same time, in case you were curious. That's what I was trying to figure out. Everybody at home?
I couldn't figure out what that was.
That was me trying to get it to track. It only tracks on the left-hand side of the screen, though.
Oh, unfortunate.
I wonder why both sides built destroyers. Oh, wait, no, these are Coopers. Never mind, I'm stupid. Well, no, both sides built destroyers. Why? Both sides were unassailed in the navies, and both sides built the things that you use to win Navy. A little bit strange.
I couldn't tell you.
A big air
almost
fight.
Finished up from Rosina.
Yeah, and a big air fight is about to make that a bit of a problem because he's going for these strat bombers, I guess? I don't know why all of his ASF are just flying over the base of Ladike. And surprisingly, this small number of ASF over here for Antrox was winning the fight against Ladike's ASF because of all the cruisers. So, I still don't know why Rosina decided to just fly all of his ASF right into the enemy's base. Strategic launch detected. Where is that going? Going for the base of Antrox, and I think that lands.
It certainly looks like it lands. I see no way that SMD loads in time.
You need a Paragon's worth of eco and an ungodly amount of build power to make that load in time. So, let's go ahead and get the pretty picture.
Thousands of build power.
The what?
He needs thousands of build power to load that.
Yeah. It's a fuck ton.
Strategic launch detected.
Well, both sides threw their nukes. I don't... Is Ladike's anti-nuke loaded? Can you check for me?
It is.
Okay, so that one's not landing, as the nuclear exchange goes very poorly for Team 2, And the issue with that is Team 2 was already behind economically. They're currently 1/3 the economy of their opponents, and they have 400 mass a second. And the Iwasa comes in and... Wait, it kills off the SMD!
A-bomb!
It kills off the SMD and it kills off the comm! Oh my word! The Giga Brain plays coming out from Antrox and Rosina, working together. Tom Ruler still has like 2 to 3 times their economy. But that was Giga Brain.
That was a very smart play. I don't think the Iwasa needed to be Control K'd for that.
I think the Iwasa Control K guarantees that the anti-nuke dies before the nuke lands. I think you could risk it if you went for like... Because you need 2 passes to kill it.
No ASFs on the field.
Yeah. Yeah, but the question is, the Iwasa is going to fly off screen. Is it going to come back in? Is it going to lose its order or whatever?
True.
So, I don't know. I'm fine with the Control K-Bomb also because...
2 anti-nukes
The best thing about that Control K-Bomb is it wasn't a mass dump because the nuke killed off the reclaim field.
That it did.
And 2 what?
Although there is now 2 anti-nukes in the middle of the map. Neither loaded, but he's got 2 of them.
Well, he's very safe. He can feel very good about himself. And,
61,000 reclaim on the left side of the map.
So let's just take a step back. Tom Ruler, I think it's pretty easy to identify you're still ahead on eco. If you just look at the number of T3 mexes you've built, Tom Ruler, and you look at the enemy base, which I'm sure when you have it scouted you can zoom in and see, yeah, you just have more eco. All your priority right now should be is 1, get that comm safe. Do not have your comm in a stupid spot, which right now I kind of think it is in one. And 2, I think you have to get and maintain air control right now. Because I think air is the #1 way for Team 2 to end this game prematurely. Get another couple of Iwasas and Control K bomb them onto Tom Ruler's comm. Or just bomb on top of them however you want to do it. Also, Cruiser's about to kill off an SMD that's about to be loaded, which is less than ideal.
Quite unfortunate.
I don't know if they're going to be able to. Maybe there's enough TMD in time, but doesn't seem like there will be.
It looks like that one's going to go down regardless.
The other SMD... See, this is why he had 2 SMDs. The Giga Brain move. That was his Giga Brain move. Versus his opponents doing the Control K-Bomb into absolute nukage. The old 1-2 punch.
Another Iwasa being built by Rosina.
For the thumbnail on this one, I should use the uncanny Mr. Incredible meme, and the happy version is like anti-nuke loaded, and the uncanny version is Iwasa incoming.
Nah, don't worry about it. It can't break through the shield.
It can't. Also, another thing he did, I think he did the Iwasa, the Control K bomb where you drop the bomb and Control K at the same time. So he damaged the shield, which means that the Iwasa had even higher fall damage. Because the shield absorbs some of the fall damage, you know?
Yes, it does.
That's why, like, if people are going to Control K bomb you, it's a legitimate strategy to just build a fuck ton of shields. But the issue is, if they bring more than one thing, then it doesn't work.
Team 2 total mass generation over 300,000 ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, they're over a million.
Not looking good for Team 1. Or,
yeah,
wait,
but
no.
No, things are not looking good for Team 2 economically. Tom Ruler is ahead by a large margin. Now, of course, out of that 300,000, how much of that was Ladike? There's a portion of it that was Ladike that was killed with the nuke and all that. But overall, Tom Ruler is in a great position economically, and he's going for advanced nano repair. I think that's purely to try and avoid snipes, make snipes harder, make himself
He
kind
can
of
100%
deceptively tanky.
afford it. There's zero reason not to do it.
Yeah. But
Building another anti-nuke behind his commander,
he's
too.
building a Hovathom, which is...
Does that reach anything on this?
It should. It's a 20 kilometer.
It does. Reaches both main bases.
Yeah. It used to be on 20Ks that the T3 artilleries wouldn't reach very far, except for the emissary. They changed it to where everything has a bit more range, and is a bit closer to the emissary. The emissary still has the longest range, but it's more parity. So that way you can actually build a disruptor or a Duke and not have it be useless on a 20-kilometer map.
Yeah, disruptor's never a good decision.
What was that?
The disruptor is never a good decision for an artillery.
Yeah. I mean, it does have really nice damage output. It doesn't have one of the highest rate of fire or something, or the highest splash area.
Highest splash, but it's also the most inaccurate and lowest shell damage.
Oh, gotcha. The Duke
also
is
the
Duke
cheapest.
is. I think the Duke is the best if it's in range.
Nope, that's still the emissary. Highest damage too.
I thought the Duke had a
costs-
higher fire rate, so it was. I thought that was what made it.
I don't believe that the fire rates are any different on any of the artilleries.
Ah, I thought one of them was faster. I don't know. I could be wrong.
don't
I don't.
think
I
so.
don't like playing the end game of FAF. Like the eventual actual end game of artillery. I don't like playing it,
Yeah.
so I'm not very good at it.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
the,
these strap
fire
bombers
rates and
in the
things.
middle, I feel, are waffling about when they should just fucking go kill stuff. Anything really. I guess they are killing these mass extractors in the middle, which T3 mass extractors on the front line. That's how rich Tom Ruler is.
He's a little greedy. He's just trying to spend his mass right now.
Yeah, I think another thing Tom Ruler could do while building, he's already finished the Hovathon, which kudos. But another thing he could do is just here in the middle, get a bunch of T3 engineers. He could build lines of chickens. And with his economy and how far ahead he is right now, I think that Team 2 would be hard-pressed to stop 3 or 4 chickens walking up on them.
Team 2 might not even be able to stop one chicken as it stands.
I think they can with the fact that they have so much fire basing built up and there's a fat boy on the way.
There's a fat boy?
Yep,
Is it-
currently
Oh,
being...
there it is.
Yep, Antrox building a fat boy. You
And
see,
you are
I'm
correct
really,
about
I'm
the
really
fire
good at noticing things. Can you tell I've casted almost 200 games?
No, I think this is your first cast.
Actually, I think I have casted 200 games. I think that's an official thing now.
That's a lot.
Yeah. The anti-nukes, multiple anti-nukes loaded, so nuking isn't an option. We have another Awasa on the way. We have a nuke built up by Rosina. We have, yeah, that's it. That's all that's going on. And the artillery is going after Rosina, which I think is valid. I think you could make an argument for going after the mass extractors in the base of Antrox, but you already nuked that guy. Let's just deal some damage to Rosina. Although these T2 and T3 Seraphim shields are going to be a real bitch to get through.
Yeah, I think going for pretty much anything but his main base would be a good idea. One
Gotcha.
artillery won't get through all of this.
Well, good thing he is setting up to build another.
Ah, perfect. That's how you spend
But
mass.
it's really upsetting me that you didn't build the power generator ring for the first artillery.
Yeah, he should have at least built it with T1. Just any sort of power.
Either that
And you
or
were
he's going to
correct.
build a YOLO right here.
That would be an interesting play.
And what was I
definitely
correct
got
about?
the economy for it. The fire rates.
Oh. Which one's fastest?
They do have different fire rates. Siren on 7.7.
I thought it was
UEF
Siren that was
Seraphim.
fastest.
It's still got the lowest DPS.
Why? Why is it so bad then? I know that. I mean, it's funny because they're bad with their T3 artillery, and then in the game ender T4 artillery, I would argue the Scathis is the worst because it's the only one you can reasonably shield without putting all of your economy into it. You can't actually shield the Maver, and the Salvation, you can throw all of your economy and shield against it. Well, is this this artillery or is this YOLO? I'd love to see a YOLO. YOLO is so much better to end a game with than artillery. Come on.
Who needs artillery when you can just build game enders?
I mean, that should be Tom Ruler's mentality right now.
I wonder if this fat boy is ever going to
Okay,
get
he's
online.
gonna finish the power ring, and the fat boy, is he stalling power? No, he's
stalling
not.
nothing.
Oh, he just doesn't have any build power. He has 6 T1 NGs and a comm. The comm alone.
You're in a Wassa bomb. Bombing Tom Ruler's navy.
Oh, yeah, that's not significant. It takes almost 8 minutes, 5 seconds short of 8 minutes for the comm alone to do that. So probably like 7 minutes flat with those extra engineers.
It'll maybe be done.
You know, it'd be really funny if the artillery fired at him and killed the fat boy right before it finishes. Wasted 7 minutes of this man's life building a fat boy.
Oh, that would be brutal.
Which is a real possibility because the artillery is now firing onto Antrox, and also I can't tell if another artillery is going to be built, but Tom Ruler are having legitimate issues with pathing right now because his engineers are stuck in a gridlock from hell. This is like when you're playing. This is like when you're playing City Skylines, and you just decide that stoplights will actually work for everything, and they don't.
Yeah, there are problems when you have 100 T1 NGs in one section.
And overall, having 400 T1 NGs is not ideal, actually. At a certain point, you just need to control a fuckload of them and turn them into T3, but he also has too many T3 engineers at 145.
That might be the most T3 engineer. Wow. He's still building. He's still building them.
You know what? After all of the replay reviews we've done together, which I don't think it's very many, but it kind of feels like a lot. I do like... Co-casting with you has so far been a pleasure. It's been fun. And replay reviews. Tom Ruler watches those. I know he does. He ain't gonna be the person we're yelling at about not having enough build power.
No, he definitely does not want to be a slouch on that. 150
he is just
climbing.
building lines of chickens now. And he's still, even with all this build power, he's having trouble spending all of his mass. Like, he's not about to overflow or anything, but he's, even with building like a chicken with 100 T1 NGs, he's not even close to spending all of his mass.
Fat Boy just finished up.
Is the artillery firing where the Fat Boy is? Nope, it's still firing on the air grid.
I think it is.
No, it's on the air grid. It's trying to clear
so that shield damage is just a random shell then. Okay.
Yeah, no, I think the Seraphim is even less accurate than the Duke. So, yeah, it misses a lot. The problem right now with the chicken is he doesn't have anything around it, and that's like 30 crucibles. Or 20.
That's definitely enough. Yeah, regardless, that is enough to kill a chicken.
I think it's 17 to kill a chicken. Or it's technically 7 if you space it out perfectly and the chicken doesn't micro.
Yeah, but let's not go with technicalities. 20 is a safe number.
I think
I would love to see... Number. Oh, okay. Nuke sub being built from Antrox.
But that's kind of pointless because whenever we go ahead and select Tom Ruler really quick and notice that he has 4 SMD, I guess you could go for the artillery and the main base, but yeah, I think he just built this quadruped of... Oh, he just control K'd a bunch of T1 engineers. Thank you! We were just talking about how that's like the most efficient use of them at the moment.
It's just to get rid of them.
Yeah, no, at this point, the pathfinding is so bad, you need to fix it. The chicken not pushing forward, which is probably a good call with how many Percivals are about.
Battleship in the north, 80% to having a nuke loaded.
Oh my god, did he do it? He did it!
He's doing it.
Ah! Yes, I told you! I went back in time and convinced Tom Ruler to do it. I didn't actually watch this replay beforehand. I know Thurnis did, or I think Thurnis did. I didn't watch this one beforehand, so I didn't know this actually happens. Like, I swear on whatever I need to swear to for you to believe me. I swear.
I would love to see summits be built out of this naval yard, just to get rid of these TMD lines. A summit can easily shell that whole front base.
But we're also talking about Antrox, and as far as people go in this game, he's poor. I mean, so is Rosina, but he's poor.
I would not call 375 mass poor.
I would whenever you're getting out-ecoed by one enemy player.
Who's also got an
Like
entire second base.
No, like your team is getting out-ecoed even though there's two of you. You're poor. Oh. You're poor in comparison to everybody else. Tom Ruler is in the 1%, and Aatrox and Rosina are in the 10%.
Awasa bombing the build power on that naval yard.
That helps. That helps Tom Ruler. At this point, he's actually probably getting close to unit cap, just because of how many stupid amounts of T1 engineers he built.
I don't think so. He does now have 2,000 not build capacity. Yeah, wait. Unit capacity. That's the word I'm looking for. Second Havatham almost done.
Yep. And, that strategic launch detected, was that the nuke from the bat? Nope, it was the nuke from over here. What's it going for?
That is nuke out from Rosina. That is going for 3 mexes up by his nuke building battleship.
Yeah. I do like the play of building the aircraft carriers. Not only for building his ASF, but because when the Awasa comes around, which, did the Awasa get shot down? No, it didn't. I don't see a wreck anywhere for it.
If it did, it got shot down off screen.
It might have. I'm not seeing it. But, or even right here, this air fight, it's not going to be a win for Tom Ruler, but those aircraft carriers are going to do a fuck ton of damage. They're also going to be pretty
Rosina
adept
going after the wrong battleship.
He's going after an aircraft carrier.
He got a battleship down to 5,000 HP.
Oh. I think that was just the one that was closest to the torpedo bombers, though.
Probably.
So I guess the question is, do the aircraft carriers clean up these torpedo bombers in time? Also, the one with the nuke is getting targeted.
I no longer...
No, it's not.
They are going to live, it seems, just because he's no longer
in the middle. Fat Boy
aircraft
versus
carrier.
Double Chicken is going to go very poorly for Fat Boy. If it doesn't.
Oh, the Awasa is alive! And it just bombed lots of Zooies.
Oh.
And his own SACU.
Yeah, okay. In his base? Oh, his own support SU. I thought you meant his actual SU. The Awasa comes in, drops a bomb onto those point defense, which I think would have been better dropped on the chickens. And it's gonna be losing a lot of HP to these lightning tanks. I mean, it's not insignificant. Down into the red. Gonna have to pull back with that one and let it regenerate a bit. Not even at 1 rank of veterancy, though.
Is completed.
The question is, does it does it get to fire? And if it does, what does it hit? Is it significant? The double Havatham, which also the air grid for Tom Ruler is going to get nasty very quickly. And Team 2 have officially surpassed Tom Ruler in mass generation. Oh. Which
Tom
nuke?
Ruler
Which
now
one has
on
the nuke?
230 T3 NGs.
At a certain point, it's too fucking many. He's going for a nuke launcher, or he has one queued. When it will be built, no one knows, because NGs are everywhere. But I think the battleship with the nuke is probably going to die. He just doesn't have air to deal with this. Oh, yep. Yeah, the battleship with the nuke's going to die. I think you nuke the Fat Boy then. Or the Percivals.
Well, if he's not paying attention and he keeps just bombing these T1 NGs...
The torpedo bombers are about to kill off the nuke. The nuke needs to fire right now. The nuke needs to fire right now. Tom Ruler needs to fire it.
Tom Ruler.
You just fire it. You don't care about what you hit at this point. You fire it.
Yeah, no, he's just... Oh, it died.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunate for the blue Seraphim. Starting to look a little bit dire. Like, he's behind on eco now. If his opponents can just manage to get some kind of, like, starting to use this economy in some way. Like, they've caught up on economy, and kudos to them for just doing that. That's already a monumental task, you know? But now you have to use it. And Tom Ruler is doing a pretty fucking good job of using it. Yeah, the nuke launcher I was mentioned earlier that he was going to build, that queued up.
Yep, the one that went up in less than 10 seconds.
He could just build... Honestly, he could just throw everything into a YOLO, and it wouldn't be a bad call right now with the fact he has all these chickens, and now he has an air grid to build a bunch of ASF to try and protect himself.
4
Not to
chickens
mention...
and counting.
Yeah, he's gonna have a lot of chickens to walk forward, and 4 chickens and counting I think is actually just enough to walk over your opponent at this point.
Yeah, that's definitely what it looks like.
The fat boy with all those Percivals is like, it makes it kind of questionable, but the chicken is, if there's one thing you say it's good at dealing with armies. It's pretty decent at it. Whenever there's a bunch of units clumped up, it has so much AoE and high rate of fire damage. Also, I love the northern pond. What's going on with it? All of the
SAM batteries.
SAMs, yeah. That's
He's decided to make a denial zone.
He could get another battleship nuke if he felt like it.
A very interesting air grid going up by Rosina. I can't say I like it. Go up north a little more.
I mean,
I can't say I support it.
He's not spending his mass. He's overflowing. Is Antrox spending his mass? Okay, well at least Antrox is spending all of the overflow. He can't spend his mass, and he doesn't have power for this. So yeah, that's just bad. It's just bad. That's what that is. And Antrox is in the situation where he is spending mass, but it doesn't seem like it's being spent on anything particularly great. He has 2 nuke subs down here in the south, one of which is loaded and launching. I can't believe I remembered the nuke subs just when they were about to launch. I think that's going for... Yep, it's going for the Hovathons.
There is no anti-nuke in the area.
Alright.
That's going to be a very juicy nuke.
So here's the question. He kills the Hovathons, but at what cost? Because at this point, Tom Ruler loses his card of, well, I'm just going to kill him slowly using Hovathons, and decides to use the fucking chickens. That's my prediction. All of my time playing FAF tells me that this happens, and Tom Ruler immediately sends all 4 chickens forward. That's what I do.
That would be a definite smart move. That 4 chickens. He's got 5 chickens.
Or another stupidly easy thing he could do is just send all the chickens into the southern pond and then walk them up.
Strategic launch detected.
Or the northern pond.
Yeah, that'd be a smart
Where's that
play.
nuke going? Oh, right over here. It's gonna be taking out 3 pigeons. Wait, no, that's huge! That's huge because Rosina's air grid is fucking him! He's living off of overflow from Antrox, and Antrox is gonna lose a bunch of power.
Wow.
You know what would have made this better? Is if this happened, And he still had hover-thumbs to hit the base of Rosina.
Oh,
win
that would
some,
be
lose some.
horrible.
Yeah, you win some, you lose some, don't you? Oh.
Strategic
I bet
launch
you anything Rosina's now power stalling. Oh, never mind, he's not all of a sudden. Strategic launch detected. Where's this nuke? Is it another... It's another nuke sub.
It is. Yep, it's another nuke sub going for the air grid.
Yeah, but...
Massive amounts of secondary build power.
You know
on
how we
that.
were talking about you need thousands of build power? He has it. This is a race.
That's that build power.
This is a
right
race. This is a race. It might go all the way. Oh my god, it's so close. Oh, it's gonna. Oh, yes. Tom Ruler. He outbuilt the nuke sub. That might be the fastest anti-nuke, both built and loaded, I have ever seen.
That was under 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of strat bombers coming
5
out.
chickens.
We're waiting for these chickens to do something, honestly, but all of these strat bombers plus the Iwasa going out on the southern side, but the kind of issue is he doesn't have any ASF anymore. Tom Ruler has 1 air. Sure, Tom Ruler's about to fly over
all
a bunch
these
of
strat bombers
cruisers,
shot
but
down.
yeah, he's about to fly over a bunch of cruisers, but like, it's either that or don't shoot down the strat bombers. The Iwasa is chilling and about to just get shot down because there's no way. Oh yeah, this Iwasa's just dead. This Iwasa physically can't get away. Oh, unless Tom
they
Ruler,
just turn away.
unless Tom Ruler gets scared.
Okay.
I don't think Tom Ruler realized how much of an air advantage he has right now that you could just shoot down that Iwasa and then win the air fight. Tom Ruler has been playing a blinder of a game. 5 chickens going on 6. Ha ha! 1 chicken. 2 chicken. 6 chicken. That's how you count. 1, 2, 6.
Oh. Rosina seems to finally be solving his power problems, not solving the mass overflow.
Yeah, but that's okay because Antrox is still somehow spending a mass for both players.
I
don't
think
even
it's
know-
the massive amount of build power on his quantum gateway on the bottom.
As I did mention that this could be significant, the fact that he's UEF and he's the only one who can make RAS SUs. Where's this nuke going? I wonder. I think this one's also a nuke sub? Nope.
That is out from Rosina nuking.
There is nothing that can hit that's
What?
significant other than maybe the chickens.
I think he's nuking those same 3 mexes.
The 3 mexes that have been built 20 times and every time they've killed it, it hasn't done anything.
Yep. Another nuke out.
This time from Tom Ruler.
Where's that nuking?
Wait, is this nuke even gonna make it? It's on
He's
the
nuking the nuke subs.
Valid, and it also kills off a bunch of cruisers, which are kind of like just creating an area he can't fly his air into.
Is he actually gonna get any of them?
He's gonna get all of them.
He got 1 cruiser.
Oh. Damn, okay, never mind. Nuke traveled a lot slower than I thought it would. Alright. ASF now engaged in battle, and yet again Tom Ruler wins, but runs away for some reason. And now Rosina is flying all of his ASF into a combination of aircraft carriers and SAMs.
Not best
That
play.
northern pond is just... Well, one, I can kind of see why he's flying into the SAMs. It's hard to see those. It's kind of an eyesore, this blue on this navy. At least on my screen. I don't know about for you, because you play with different graphical settings.
Yeah, it's not too bad for me. I don't have Bloom and all your fancy stuff.
Oh, they're nuking the chickens. Which, admittedly, he's kind of asking for it, because he keeps on putting a bunch of chickens next to each other and then not using them. Does he have enough anti-nuke range? It's gonna be on the edge. Gonna be interesting. I think that the nuke lands, though. I don't think it kills any of these chickens. 40k HP? I can't remember how much a nuke does, but I think a chicken lives.
100,000.
Does it?
The only experimental that lives is the megalith.
Huh. Well, that's a lot of
At least
mass.
I believe it's 100,000.
Well, that's a lot of mass. Huh. The only time I've seen this many lightning storms in one place is whenever we were playing with cheats on.
Yeah, my computer didn't like you.
I crashed Thurnis' computer by spawning those.
Yeah. I'm sorry, it does 70,000 damage.
2 Awasas. We're getting into the range of like 3-4 Awasas is enough to, I think even with advanced nano, is enough to just to kill the comm with control K bombing.
Nothing going up in the back of either player's bases.
Yeah,
They
Tom
seem to just
Ruler, I think, missed the chance with the chickens, because now he doesn't have 4 chickens to deal with all of the Percivals. And the
He does
Awasas
have
are
these
coming in.
battleships in range.
Yeah, the Awasas are coming in, and the battleships will do significant damage to the Percivals. They're going to wither the numbers down, but there's also a bunch of Percivals on the other side of the causeway that the battleships probably can't hit. Control K bombing the comm. The comm is near some power generators, but I don't think it's close enough for the volatility to hit him. And the shields just blocked all of that. Holy
I don't
hell.
believe the first one was Control K. The second one definitely was.
I think the first one was Control K.
I think it just got instantly shot down.
That was quite possibly one of the biggest mass dumps I've ever seen, and all he has to do to survive another situation like that is
Just
build more AA and walk further back.
Yeah. 2 chickens already on the field.
One of those was sitting around because remember he had 5 chickens. He only lost 4.
I see. Another chicken way down on the south, seeming to
Exist.
be a point defense.
Yeah. So Tom Ruler has gone from playing How Do I End a Game Simulator to playing Survival.
Yeah, it's beginning to look more and more dire for Tom Ruler. He is down almost 200 mass income.
He's still up in total mass generated by like half a million.
500,000?
Yeah, half a
it's-
million. You can
Well,
also
let's
look at Reclaim and yeah. Rosina has
Let's go on.
77,000, but that's only because Rosina had a Wasa dropped on his face. Neither of the team players on Team 2 are doing particularly well, in my opinion, on Reclaim. Like, this area has been in their control for a while, and no reclaims happened.
Yeah.
You could argue that the
Well,
battleships are
Rosina
stopping
also
it.
doesn't... Rosina has finally decided to spend his mass.
But 16,000 reclaim at this point in the game is fucking shameful.
Yeah, there should be way more
And
going on
Tom
than that.
Ruler, admittedly, also kind of slacking on it, because right now he has 283,000 reclaim in his base. Even if I zoom in more, okay, I'll give him a break, because at least 50,000 of it is 2 Awasas that just fell, but still.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It seriously is... Yes, Yelona Oz time! I was literally just saying, it's Yelona Oz time or Maver time, depending on who you are. Whichever team builds one of these, and what the hell? That's a nuke coming out from the nuke sub towards these mass extractors, which...
Doesn't look like they're gonna live for much longer.
The nuke subs?
Lots of torpedoes. Yeah.
Did he shift G on the cruisers, though? Because if he didn't, then there's a chance that the nuke subs just live
It
anyways.
looks like he did.
I mean, he does have the air advantage, and I think it's... Whoa! The nuke landed. I don't know why that surprised me. I'm just dumb, okay? That's my excuse. What's yours? You're like,
I don't know.
You're like, damn, that's a good excuse.
Alright.
He is building the Yelona Oz slowly. Can't say I wouldn't.
The Navy survived.
Yeah, because
Interesting.
all those bulwarks and the cruisers, it's just gonna be... I mean, now there's another wave just as big as the last one of torpedo bombers coming.
And the bulwarks are not up yet. Oh, no, yes they are.
A couple are. Some aren't. But they'll be online by the time the torpedo bombers get there. I mean, they killed a few cruisers, but if he... I guess he could right-click on the nuke subs if he knows where they are. He did right-click. He shift-G'd on the nuke subs.
Torpedo bombers.
What?
They can dive so far that they can just simply get under bulwark shields.
Huh. I think that he tried to drop all of them on top of the nuke subs, and they got ate by the shields, though.
Yep. You can only do that if there's 1 or 2 of them. 6 doesn't work.
He gets one of the nuke subs, and I guess he just needs to send another wave to get the other one, so... You know.
Well, he has the mass available to him to do it, so might as well do it.
He's slowly losing his mass lead. Every time one of these nukes lands and kills off all of the T3 mexes, it's not good for him. I mean, he's rebuilding the T3 mexes, which is...
Strategic launch detected.
You have to really get into that mindset of these players at this late game. When you start hitting games that go this long, you are so exhausted by the hour and 10-minute mark. Re-queuing things just stops happening, you know? It really does. It really gets to the point. It really gets to the point where if you were 30 minutes earlier in the game, you would be managing it fine, but you've gone through so much. I feel that FAF gets very emotional the longer you go. The longer you go, the more you're like, just let it end. This is suffering.
Just let it end. We're done.
Also, he's back up to almost the same number of chickens as he had. He has 4 chickens on the field. He's almost up to the 5 he had beforehand. Also,
he's got another...
Wait, was that the Ilona Oz firing or just a normal nuke?
No, that was a regular nuke launcher.
Did it kill anything? I wasn't paying attention.
I think it killed Percival's. I'm not really sure.
If it did, it didn't kill enough for it to feel significant. Okay,
no, it really
did. You know what? Mad respect. Mad respect. Now Rosina is focusing on reclaim and getting a lot of it. He has these support commanders coming up, building stealth fields, and starting to try and get this reclaim. At least that's what I'm assuming they're doing. But unfortunately, the issue is that 3 chickens are about to walk up and diddle their fiddles.
All right.
You need to say some more crazy shit, Thurnis. Like,
is that a must?
Is that what?
Is that a requirement?
No, but it makes it a lot more fun. Cut back, relax. It's not all about being prim and proper. We're here to have a good time, watching some fav. Also, there is a nuke loaded in the normal nuke launcher, and the Ilona Oz is currently 31% complete. That's a bunch of strat bombers, but they should... I mean, they're going to get their first load off. That sounded wrong. They're going to get their first drop of bombs off. They're on that bombshell of a commentary. Fun fact, the longer the cast goes, the more exhausted the casters get too. I want to die!
Whoa!
No, I'm kidding. You gotta get used to this dark humor if you're gonna keep hanging around me, Thurnis.
Alright. Tom Ruler's still up by 500,000 mass generated.
I think most of it is just him getting reclaimed, because we checked earlier, he's reclaimed both of those wasps.
300,000.
And he did it in... Don't try and play games in the comment section. He did that faster than either of his opponents would have. Because this
He still has not reclaimed his Havatham Rex.
Yeah, but he doesn't have a bunch of engineers around those.
Yeah, but he could really use
Oh, somebody just pinged it
mass.
for him. Ledike just pinged it for him, telling him to reclaim it. Ledike realized that too.
Still got 200,000 mass on his side of the map.
Also, I want to point out that currently with the power incomes. Oh wait, never mind. I think one of them was having an issue with their economy. Tom Ruler at one point had double the like on this thing. He had double the reclaim or the power energy, the energy income of his opponents, or maybe that was power reclaim. Never mind, it was power reclaim. Tom Ruler has 116,000 power reclaim. In case you were worried about that.
I didn't realize that was a statistic you could check.
Yeah, it is. There's very few things that give power reclaim, so I'm surprised he has that much. Usually it's just trees. I'm sure there's other things like
reclaiming structures.
Yeah, there's some structures that
Like
you can
ones
reclaim.
that we're building.
Yeah.
Yellow on to 45%.
Mm-hmm.
Novak's about 50% complete.
The issue with that is, what do you attack with the
Seraphim
Novax?
shields.
Yeah, what do you attack with the Novax? Like, do you start going for the outlying mass extractors? Okay, he just sends his, how many T3 engineers does he have? He has 200 plus
A lot.
T3 engineers to build shields. The battleship's getting some purchase over here in the middle, and did all the chickens push forward and we not notice? Nope, the chickens are still sitting back and
No,
where's the nuke
no, he's
going?
about to finish his 10th chicken.
10th?
Yep, 10th.
No, 13. Wait,
13. No, those
There's-
are building.
3 are building.
So now he's got 10.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, and then 3 more buildings, so he's gonna have 13.
That almost feels like it's enough chickens to just
That's
walk forward and
wait.
kill anything.
He has a Yelona Os worth of mass in chickens. Actually, he has a Yelona Os and a half. He has 371,000 mass worth of chickens.
At what point do you just stop building chickens and just build the YOLO?
I think when you're reaching 100,000 mass worth of experimentals, if you don't think it's going to end the game, build a game ender. Hell, well, unless you're Seraphim. Don't do it if you're Seraphim, because you only have the chicken and the Iwasa, but fuck the Iwasa. I was going to say Control K them in your base and reclaim them, and then I was like, wait, chicken, don't do that.
Strategic
Bad. No.
You know what a real strategy for him is?
Nuke being fired by Rosina.
Trying to get the chickens again. It might get one, but the others, no. Does he? How many nukes does he have
Even this
loaded
one, it looks
ready?
far.
He has multiple nukes ready, so he can nuclear point defense all he wants.
He's got 2 loaded nukes. He could definitely just take out them chickens.
He's not even gonna get one chicken.
Nope. He waited.
Also, Tom Ruler agrees because he stopped building chickens. He's reclaiming the ones
Good.
that we're building. I think Tom Ruler is like, you know what? At this point, I'd feel ashamed if I can't win the game with 20 chickens or 10 chickens. After, if I can't make 10 work, why do I think 13 will? You know what the great thing about about having 10 chickens though is? You can put them in 10 different spots. You can reasonably, with 10 chickens, just send them all in, spread them out enough that doesn't matter how many nukes they have, they're never going to get more than one.
26 strat bombers from Rosina.
But what are the chances those live because he's at a huge ASF disadvantage? 148 ASF for Tom Ruler versus 117? So it's nearly even, but
There's a lot of SAMs.
he's also taking the air fight over the SAMs. Okay. Yeah, no, Rosina is just... And Tom Ruler is just going to abuse it. He just keeps on flying him over the SAMs. He's not trying to fight. He's just trying to get him to chase him. Tom
Looks
Ruler
like
isn't... Yeah, okay. Now he's fighting because he wants to deal with the
Chicken's
strat
gonna die?
bombers. Yeah, but... what is one when you have many?
Yeah.
These chickens are communists.
chicken
They don't
going
believe in
down.
individualism.
Oh. I see. Second chicken going down.
The only dangerous thing for Tom Ruler here is his chickens are going down next to each other, so he needs to try and spread them out a bit. It's the worst thing about the chicken is if you have a bunch of them, it's not like a
he's going to lose all of them in the south, just to Percival's.
Then he shouldn't be walking
Or
back.
themselves.
The Percival's you're gonna lose a few Percivals to the Ion Storms, but
Strategic launch detected.
Nuke fire.
yeah. The Yelona Os is now in the green health. It's at 78%.
Where is this Novax? It has got 2 T3 max kills.
Detected.
That's not that great.
Enough.
Yeah, not good.
I believe this nuke did not get anything. Oh, no, it looks like it got one more chicken.
No, that chicken that died was to Percival's. The one to the south of the nuke.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I watched it. Or no, it was to Strat Bombers. It was on red HP from the Percival.
Gotcha. Oh, another nuke about to touch down. Looks like it's also going to get nothing.
It might do some damage to one of these chickens. Nope, not even. I love Tom Ruler building T3 mexes right behind his chicken push, though. Like, the man...
He goes, well...
He's not okay, never mind, he is. I was about to say, he's not requeuing mechs. He has T1 mexes in his main base. Or in, like, the way back. We can't really fault him. You can't fault him at this point. He still has
Very long
900.
game,
He still has 900 mass a second. He doesn't. As long as he continues to maintain somewhere above 700, I think you're doing good. His opponents, though, are caught up to him on mass generation, but the issue is they don't have a Yelona Os, and he does now.
Yeah, that
95%.
is definitely a problem.
And
There's almost nothing they can do to stop this from firing at least once.
more than once. I don't think they don't have the air presence, or even if they did have the air presence, how many SAMs do they have to go through to get to that? How many Strat Bombers die on the way to it? And the second this is done, you know what he's doing. He's building shields. Everybody does that. Or maybe he'll prove me wrong and not do it just because I said it. Cast or curse.
It seems like he just wants more P-gens.
But yeah,
Strategic
no.
launch detected.
Another nuke being fired.
Into the middle. It's going to kill off 4 T3 mexes that will be immediately
I-
rebuilt by the greedy man himself.
I don't think it's gonna kill all 4. I think it's only gonna get 1 or 2.
Strategic launch detected.
Another nuke being fired.
That's not the
Where?
Yelona. That's also from Rosina. Rosina has 2 nuke launchers.
He is nuking those same 3 mexes again. There is now a loaded SMD protecting it.
Where? Where's this SMD you speak of? Oh, these
If you
3,
go up-
the 3 to the north?
Yep.
He built an anti-nuke just because that got so fucking annoying, I bet. He's just like, you know what? I am the king of anti-nukes. Also,
He goes,
okay, Tom Ruler's making a mistake with his Yelona Os. Right now, the second they know it's a Yelona Os, what you need to do is you also need to fire the 2 nukes you have stored in your normal launcher. He needs to fire both of those immediately.
yes, he does.
You just want to deplete their anti-nuke as quickly as possible because they are also now in that late game territory of being able to spam out an anti-nuke. There's 2 anti-nukes completed for Rosina. Now this is where they for sure know that's a Yelona Os.
Strategic launch detected.
Cannot be any other thing. That's the only. It's very unique looking. I don't know where
The
this
only
next
thing
nuke
with
is
that
going.
big of a bomb.
Yeah.
The YOLO has a very interesting firing queue.
Yeah, and the other nuke launcher is very. I'm very happy that it's also going to be firing. I hope he fires both. Come on, fire the other one. Fire the other one. Yep, he's doing it. Yelona Os is loaded. Is it gonna fire?
Nuke. YOLO nuke gets shot down.
Strategic
Yeah.
launch detected.
But this is going to be very taxing. They need a lot more anti-nukes, so. You're going to need a bigger anti-nuke, to quote Jaws.
Strategic launch detected.
Yep.
Is that Jaws where they say we're going to need a bigger boat?
Yes.
Okay, I thought it was crazy for a second. Like, is that wrong? Is this the
Rosina
Yellow?
firing more nukes
Okay.
at these chickens.
Tom Ruler is making a mistake with his nuke micro. He's nuking too many different places. Just start nuking one place until the Yellow lands.
Gone.
Choose one of the
Yes.
bases and just destroy it.
Strategic launch detected.
Now, admittedly, I think Rosina is now dead no matter what. I think Rosina hasn't built another anti-nuke, and he needs to. If he doesn't, he's already dead.
He managed to take out 4 chickens with his nuke again.
Yeah, but what are you going to do? Send the Percivals into the 1000 PD that was built in 10 seconds by Tom Ruler when he can build that same PD again in 10 seconds?
Yeah, they also got to cross through battleship fire.
Yeah, it's just like there's no point in killing the chickens if you can just kill them yourself. You're just making you're making reclaim fields for I know it is Tom Ruler's own stuff dying, but you're making reclaim fields for him to, if he needs to, build another Yellow. Or build more normal nuke launchers and tax your anti-nuke.
Yep.
He needs
These
to keep
2
firing.
Novaxes could take out this mass fab farm.
But they can't break through the shield of the Yellow, so and that's what they're trying to do.
No. They're trying to. They can't do it. They need to work on things that are going to cripple his power. But it does
It's-
not seem like
I'm
they're going to do that.
Starting to feel like since Rosina isn't building more anti-nuke, it is a timer.
It is
As
definitely
long
a timer.
as
They don't realize
long
they can
as
stop it.
as long as Tom Ruler, yeah, they don't realize how to stop it. Anybody who's curious, in general, as long as you aren't stalling, 4 anti-nukes stops the Yellow Os unassisted. 5 stops it with assistance unless they have you'd even need more
That.
assistance. You'd need more assistance than what he currently has actually to make it
He's
fire.
building these in 30 seconds. You need about 6 to stop this. Just because of how many T3 NGs he's got on this thing.
I really don't like that he is spreading out his Yellow Os nukes. It's so much. Just fire them at
No.
one place.
That is also how you beat the YOLO, if they don't know how to target with it.
Also, that's a lot
But
of strap
that's not
bombers.
exactly a
It's a
good
lot of
counter.
strap bombers coming out from Antrax now, along with a bunch of broadswords. I think he's gonna go for it, but the sad issue is I'm very pessimistic on this working because he has 80. Okay, let's just zoom in to where it's relevant. Is 51 SAMs that may or may not be firing, we'll say 30 SAMs. And then they have to get through 11 T2, T3 shield. So, like, good luck. I mean, I know that it's still, like, 18 strap bombers, but that's not enough. That's not gonna work.
No.
And the broadswords are
won't.
fucking laughable.
It's questionable if they'll even make it.
Yeah, the Yellow Os now deciding to fire repeatedly over here at... Oh, wait, this Yellow Os missile lands. And kills both Novaxes.
I actually don't think that hits the Novaxes. I think he
it
dropped
does.
it too far away.
No, I think it does.
No. Tom Ruler is not targeting very well with this. He's trying to fringe nuke. And there's no reason to fringe nuke. You just drop it. And if it connects, it connects.
Did he just launch his next nuke to kill the Novaxes for sure?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
it's actually going in the same location to kill nothing.
Maybe with a shield stat it'll... Gotta be a positive. You have to be positive. Can't be pessimistic about everything. Yeah, I didn't even watch the snipe attempt on the YOLO, which was obviously happening, because I'm sure it didn't work.
It did not. They did not even make it.
Launch detected.
I bet you I can even find the reclaim field. Oh, look, there's all the strap bombers on the floor. The
Ruler
Novax has
not
almost died.
moving. Yeah.
He does want the
Still.
Novax is dead, so I mean I get it, but I am still surprised. Unless I'm just blind, why hasn't Rosina built more anti-nuke? He still has 3, but they're spread out, so they're not in one spot. Antrox has 1.
I think they've
Given up.
decided they can't beat a YOLO.
Even though you very easily can. As out of all the game enders, I think YOLO is most counterable.
Depends. If you're mass stalling, no. Otherwise, I'd say the Scathus.
If you're mass stalling Scathus, you can't defend against either. It still requires a fuck ton of shields.
It does, but in my opinion, I think the Scathus is the easiest to defend against.
Okay, another like 18 strat bombers coming in, and half of them getting shot down by lightning tanks.
Desperation plays not working.
You know what? I'm convinced it's over. I'm gonna go ahead and speed it up a little bit. Not here to waste the time of our beautiful viewers. Just keep watching until Tom Ruler decides to. It seems as though he's finally decided just to fire at the main base, which will work. He needs 3 missiles to go to the main base of Rosina, and he kills off Rosina. That's all he needs. Which means as long as he keeps nuking that same spot 3 times in a row, he lands
Oh,
a nuke.
teleporting Antrox. Where?
Strategic launch detected.
I mean,
Where did he go?
I have no idea. I don't see a red ACU other than...
Oh, he teleported up to where his Novaxes were.
Strategic
Is he just
launch
trying to
detected.
avoid the shots of the YOLO? Because that doesn't make any sense. Also, it is official. There are no more antis loaded.
Nope.
So Rosina dies to this this
Strategic
Yolona
launch
launch.
detected.
He
This
didn't even.
entire air grid is going to fall to 4 Authams. 5 Authams.
Strategic launch detected.
I think that the air grid. Oh wow, that was his normal nuke that landed. That wasn't the YOLO nuke. Not that there isn't a YOLO nuke on the way. That's the YOLO nuke, I think. No, that was a normal nuke as well. He just had another 2 normal nukes loaded. Okay. Weird flex, but okay. And that's a YOLO. And that's the entire base dead, pretty much. Because the power is about to chain react like a motherfucker.
Strategic launch detected.
Or not. I'm just wrong on all accounts. I'm always wrong. For some reason, I
The
think the
YOLO
YOLO is
kind of
stronger.
finicky. The YOLO has a
It
lot of
feels like
weird
when the YOLO
overlapping
hits me,
damage.
my entire base gets deleted even if it's on the edge.
Yeah, the YOLO has a lot of weird overlapping rings that account for like 1 million damage.
And then it has like the tendril thing that changes how it works.
Also, yeah.
You know, it'd be cool if a nuke got caught in the blast radius of another nuke if it just exploded right then and there.
Launch detected.
I know
would be
that
odd.
that interaction is so niche and never happens, but we also have the interactions of like inties can stop nukes. Or
Yeah.
or the interactions of artillery shells hitting air scouts.
Or a very interestingly placed TMD shot.
Where is the comm of Rosina?
The control came in the bottom pod.
No, no, he didn't.
Commander under
Rosina's
attack.
still alive. The control K was the other guy. Oh, you were ahead of me. Okay.
By about 3 seconds.
All right. Thank you all for watching. You all have been beautiful. Thank you to the patrons. If you all have any opinions on the co-casting, let me know. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Whatever. Go for it. Like, comment, dislike, subscribe. Buttons. They're really fun to click. Hit the bell. Whatever. Goodbye. Fuck you.